Alright, so now we're a couple days past what we originally recorded, and I put it into Ableton over here, and I'm going to kind of show you what I did to make this sample. I didn't record anything new, didn't put any new instruments in it, I just used only the instruments that I had already. I took those and I made this with it. That's the recording. Originally it was at 140 BPM. This was pitched, let's see, up to, so currently, this is labeled wrong. Let's go to the actual stuff and kind of break down what we did. The first thing that you'll see that's really easy to tell here is just the Foley. So this is just a recording of before I play, and I just kind of chopped them together here so they fit the whole thing. And then only thing I did was I put it in mono here, compressed it really hard and brought down the volume a little bit. And then I just put some RC20 on it. And with that RC20, I just put a little bit of noise, a little bit of distortion. Just kind of tweaked around Vinyl 1 basically to get what we got, just kind of background noise basically. Then we'll go over the piano, I think is next best. So we have our original recording, and then the first thing I did was took this C minor. I did like 2 notes at a time, so do 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 do, just back and forth. EQ and the compressor for both of these, just kind of taking out a lot of high and low end, so you can see I took out a lot. Basically just leaving the middle bit. Gives a little ominous feel, and then all I did was put a chorus on it, just because one is panned left and one is panned right. And then I put this Foyer EQ on it. It adds ambience to it. And then lastly I put RC20, same exact thing as the Foley. I think I might have tweaked the noise basically, but beyond that everything's the same. And so that's how we came out with that part of it. Then we have messing around with chords, which is just me just basically screwing around with a C minor, F minor 9 chords. And the reason it sounds different is because, well, I pitched it down. So originally it was like this, but I pitched it down, threw on basically the same exact effects from before. Only thing I added was fresh air just to add some high end back. It's feeling really low. And yeah, I got that. I have 2 separate recordings. So there's this one, and then it's the same thing, but just like just slightly different, right? And then lastly I added this little background high melody. Same effects as before, only thing I did was make it mono, which it already is, so I don't know why I did that. And then put Pancake on it. Basically with Pancake I'm just making it sway left to right. And then lastly, of course, gotta pitch it up 12 and give that high end, and that just happens every other 4 bars, or 8 bars it looks like. 8 bars, yeah. Kind of washing out the piano a lot. And then we have lastly the organ part, and this one's easy. This is just chords. I took out a lot of low end, I think, and put in a lot of high end on this, and then just threw on a chorus, a phalange, looks like double mirror. I put it wider on it. Basically with wider, all I did was just throw it as wide as possible, and then put on these same effects and added a de-clicker here just because it was clicking at the beginning and the end. Also, I tried putting some electric piano notes in there, but my dog was barking, so I had to cut that, and instead I only used the string here. Just basically threw fresh air on, just put the reverb on it and EQ'd out a lot of it. And then on the second half of this I just pitched it up 12, so yeah, that's the whole thing basically. And then all I did was I just recorded that all out here. And then I pitched it up and sped it up to 156 BPM to get what we have now. All right, and from there, I think I can just kind of try my best to, manipulate the sample, add in a couple extra instruments, maybe more on the high end side of things, and add some drums, and yeah, I think it'll be good to go. I tried recording this the first time doing it live, but unfortunately the audio got ruined, so it's all muted. But I have the actual video itself of me making it, so I can show you a time lapse of that, I guess. But we're probably just going to have to go over this, how I made this in the end, just after the fact instead of doing it live in person, because the first thing you can see on here, we have our regular sample. The only thing I did to it here was put FabFilter on it and just cut off the low ends and the high ends. Then, secondly, I did the same thing, low ends and high ends cut off here, but I just pitched the sample down. So instead of being up, it's down now, so it sounds like this. And together they sound like this. Then I made this guitar part here. It sounded like this originally. So not super nice. I put an EQ on it, I cut it at 350 and 4000, and then I added a compressor. I put another EQ on it. This one is more shaping how I want it, so I wanted a little bit more high end, so I put 2500. Again, cut off low and high ends there. So now it just sounds a little muted, but a lot of high end fresh air on it. And then the real effects are here. I put this double mirror flanger, or not flanger, put this double mirror doubler on it. Makes it wide and kind of just a new sound. I put on the foyer reverb at 40%. And then lastly, I put on the RC20. I'm pretty sure it is the exact same setting as before. And then you can see I did the same exact thing, but this time I just put it up an octave. Here's the octave. And together. So it adds a little bit of nice stuff to it. All right, next up we got our synths and our bass. Firstly, we have this pad. A lot of high end. I put only an EQ on it, just cut it at 7000 and cut out the low ends at 300. And then it's just a massive setting. I went into massive, and I believe it is the Dreamizer, this one, but I just messed around a little bit with the attack, so it actually hits a little harder. Then we did the same thing with our chords. This is a just basic key sound I made myself, so just like that. I don't even think I put any effects on it. I didn't. Again, I cut out low and high end just like the piano, put on the reverb and RC20, same exact settings for all of that. And then lastly, I have some basses. So the first bass I made myself, I believe, it is this just basic shape, square wave, a little bit of filtering, a little bit of this, unison, and detuned it. And I also automated the filter cutoff so it goes up and down. With the filter cutoff, I'm going up and down and up and down, so it adds a little bit of movement. And then lastly, I have a Rickenbacker bass. All I did was put it in mono, and then I cut out just the high end, and altogether all of those synths. A lot of these are just adding high and low end that the sample was originally missing. Last couple of things, I guess. We can go over effects first. I just put some noise in the background, and then some risers I made myself. And then I have two different drum sections, I guess. I just put basically regular drums and this hi-hat. And then there's a B section to that. And then the second half, it's just kick and drum, or kick and snares and claps. So very, very, very simple drums, but altogether it sounds nice.